You will be aware probably that when the workers' compensation changes went through in the last Parliament, there was a requirement that a review take place in 2011. We intend to start the review immediately. We're not going to wait till 2011. One of the big mistakes, and I will acknowledge this on behalf of the opposition, I think one of the big mistakes in the last Parliament was that the whole thing was rushed. And I think there were a whole range of issues that could have been dealt with a lot better had there been time. So we need to, and the timing of course wasn't of the opposition's making, but we recognise that issue. So we wish to start the review immediately. Now we've spoken to a number of groups that you could broadly say represent injured workers, the Plaintiff Lawyers Association as I call them, being one. They've argued a number of issues in relation to the level of benefits, the 5% disability issue, common law issue. All of those matters are going to be part of the review, and we will take submissions on those. We're not going to rush it. I'm not going to mislead the group by saying this is going to be a quick fix process. The claims management contract's in place till 2013. That's 3.5 years yet. Before we can deal with the claims management issue as far as competition goes. I would be calling in EML and talking to them about their one-on-one customer service. I had an experience this week, and I share the injured workers' frustration in this sense. I rang EML to report a potential suicide, and 2 days later, I'm waiting for a call back. I'm assuming it was dealt with because the person's brother who rang me was quite distressed. I immediately rang EML and I've got no feedback on that particular issue from EML. Now I'm only the Shadow Minister for WorkCover, right? Now whether they should give that any priority or not is another issue, but I can share the frustration of the injured worker about the level of customer service delivered in that sense. In relation to suicides, which is a difficult topic to discuss publicly, the Liberal Party intend to make it a compulsory element of the rehabilitation contract that they report to our independent regulator all suicides and attempted suicides, and the independent regulator then has to report to the Parliament. The reason we're going to do that is to bring the issue to the politicians' attention, and then they have to deal with it. So there is a report tabled in the Parliament about the number of actuals and attempteds, and also the programs in place to try and prevent. So they are the general outline of what we intend to do. I haven't spoken about the business side, if you like, about the levy rates. We intend to try and eventually have a target levy rate of less than 2%. And some people will say, well, hang on a minute, you can't have a lower levy rate without having an impact on workers. I disagree with that. Go to Queensland. Levy rate of 1.15% with common law in their system. With common law in their system. So I'm not convinced of the argument that just because you want to have a lower levy rate long term, that necessarily means a problem for the workers. It comes down to, in my view, the management of the scheme and particularly the claims management. That's why we wish to split off the independent regulator, to put it over the top of all three systems that exist so that we can hold them to account.
Iain, we're going to have to wrap